What is happening, you wonderful people? So last night I got a chance to go see Crime 101, and in this film, a Los Angeles detective pursues an elusive thief who teams up with an insurance broker for one last heist. And that's all I can say without giving too much away. Let's talk about it.
What's your favorite scary movie?
So Crime 101. When it comes to Crime 101, I at first did not have any big expectations for this movie, but the two trailers that they released for the movie really worked for me. So the marketing as a whole and the trailers worked, and I was like, you know what? This looks like my cup of tea. You know what? This looks like my type of movie, my type of crime heist type film, because I love those type of films. Action movies I'm an action guy. I love action movies and crime heist movies. And this movie doesn't reinvent the wheel. It doesn't. But the cast is phenomenal. The cast, you have Chris Hemsworth in here. You have Monica Barbaro, Barry Keoghan, Halle Berry, Mark Ruffalo, Nick Nolte, Corey Hawkins, and even Devin Bostick from Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Roderick, he's in here. Like, he doesn't have a big role, but he's in here too. And I'm not familiar with the overall novel. I know this movie is based off a book by Don Winslow called Crime 101. I have never read the novel. I've never read the book, so I'm not familiar with the book. Y'all tell me if y'all have read it and what y'all think about it. And when it comes to the director of this movie too, Bart Layton, I'm not familiar with Bart Layton's filmography. He hasn't done very many movies. He's done some, but I'm not familiar with any of his work. I haven't seen any of his other projects, movies, or shows, and he actually wrote the screenplay for this as well. And overall, he's a great writer, I think. And when it comes to this movie as a whole, you kind of knew what you were going to get when you saw the trailers, even if the trailers worked for you. Like, the trailers worked for me, but at the same time, I was like, this could end up being very, very generic. And after walking out of the movie last night, it doesn't reinvent the wheel, but I actually had some fun with it. So if you're new to my channel, or if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I like to talk about my positives first, then my negatives next. But even when I need to be negative, I will be positive. Even when I need to be positive, I will be negative as well. And overall, I had fun with this movie. It doesn't really reinvent the wheel. It really doesn't. But it's a lot of fun. It's one of those ones where you could just turn your brain off, go with your friends. And I actually saw this with Rob from Cinefanatics and Daniel Marks from The Marks Show last night. So that's always fun. We went to go see Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die the other night, and Robert Rodriguez was in attendance for that. That was really cool. If you haven't checked out my review for that, it's up somewhere up here. Go check that out. I appreciate that a lot. But it's always fun to go see movies with those two guys. They're two of my closest friends, or two of my closest movie review friends. And with this movie, it's really engaging for the most part. It is engaging for the most part. And I think a lot of things work in here. There's some things that don't, and I'll talk about the things that don't work in the negative section a little bit. But it's engaging. And I think the cast ensemble in here is so fun. And when I saw the trailer, I was like, this is a star-studded cast. And I cannot wait to see this movie because of the cast. Like, everybody in here is an actor that I like personally, and I think Chris Hemsworth in here is really, really good. He gives a great performance. His character, I'll talk about more in the negative section. He gave a great performance, he did, but his character is kind of dull. And I'll talk about that a little bit more later. But other than the character itself, not talking about his character, but his performance, Chris Hemsworth in the movie did a great job. Like usual, he did a great job. And I think Monica Barbaro, she does not have a big role in here. She has a prominent role, and her role is kind of important, I guess. Maybe in a way, maybe it isn't, but it's always good to see her. I think she's great. Whether she was in Top Gun Maverick, whether she was in A Complete Unknown. I love Top Gun Maverick. A Complete Unknown wasn't the biggest fan of, but she shines. She was great in both. And Barry Keoghan has a really big role in here, and it's always good to see Barry Keoghan as well. And I thought he was great in Eternals. I thought he's great in everything. And he's a rising star. He's one of the best actors, I think, working today. He's one of the best actors coming up today, and he did a good job. In here. Halle Berry, love Halle Berry. Absolutely love her. I think she gave one of the best performances of the movie in the movie. She's one of the best actors in the movie, one of the best stars in the movie, and she was really great. She was great. Mark Ruffalo, I love seeing Mark Ruffalo in anything, but I love seeing Mark Ruffalo as a detective. I do. In any movie he's in, he's great, but when he plays a detective, he's great. He's great. And I thought he brought the dry, witty humor in here. He brought the dry sense of humor in here. And he's low on life in here. He doesn't really appreciate life that much, and you'll see what I mean when you watch the movie. You'll be like, oh yeah, he's kind of a depressed character in a way, but I thought he was great. I thought he was great. And Devin Bostic, who plays Roderick in the Diary of a Wimpy Kid films, and he was in Oppenheimer too. Doesn't have a big role at all. He only has a few scenes, but it was so cool to see him in here. As someone who grew up with the Diary of a Wimpy Kid films, and as someone who knows him from that franchise, from those movies, really cool to see him in here. And Nick Nolte, love Nick Nolte. Doesn't have a big role in here. He has a few scenes, but really cool to see him in here. And Corey Hawkins, I love Corey Hawkins, man. When I found out that Corey Hawkins was in here, or when I remembered that he was in here, I was like, I love Corey Hawkins, man. He's so cool. He has such a good screen presence, and him and Mark Ruffalo's dynamic and chemistry is great in here. Mark Ruffalo is like the detective. Corey Hawkins is like his partner in a way, sort of. And I just thought he was great in here. I thought he was great. And the thing about the film that I love is that it's shot beautifully. It's absolutely shot beautifully. Whether it's the overall aesthetic, I love the aesthetic in here. Whether it's the overall atmosphere, whether it's the cinematography or the color grading. The color grading is great. The cinematography is great. The aesthetic is great. The atmosphere is great. It's a good looking film. It's a beautiful looking film. And even from the trailer, I knew before I saw the movie, I was like, this movie looks absolutely beautiful. Like from a color grading, color palette standpoint, I love that monotone type grayish type color grading. I absolutely loved it. Or the cinematography, I absolutely loved it. And I really think the score is fun and energetic. It kind of like makes you sit up and you're like, oh, I'm kind of feeling this score. Not the best score I've ever heard, but I'm kind of enjoying this score. It's not a score that'll win best score at the Oscars or anything, but it's just kind of energetic and fun. And I think the editing is very quick. I love the editing here. I think it's really good. The editing is very quick. It's very snappy, and it's very fun. And a lot of the transitions that we get in here, they kind of throw you, in a way, a Silence of the Lambs a few times. And there's a certain scene towards the end with Mark Ruffalo and Chris Hemsworth in the car, and you'll know what I'm talking about when you see the movie, and I thought that was really cool. But when it comes to that, when it comes to the transitions, perfectly. It was done perfectly. And I really think that the camera movements in here are awesome. Whether it's the camera angles, whether it's the camera movements, whether it's the camera placements, or just the tracking shots. It's awesome. It's so fun to watch. And it does have a good sense of humor as well. It does kind of have a dry sense of humor. It's not like over the top funny. It's not a comedy, but it's one of those crime films that you know what comedy you're going to get with the dry sense of humor. And it worked in here. I thought it worked. And some of the dialogue is good too. And I like the chemistry between some of our leads, whether it's Mark Ruffalo and Corey Hawkins, whether it's Chris Hemsworth and Monica Barbero and Halle Berry and Mark Ruffalo, whether it's Chris Hemsworth and Halle Berry. I love the dynamic between everybody in here. I love the chemistry, the acting chemistry, and all the performances in general. And, you know, it is intense at moments as well. And even though it's slow and sluggish at times, and I'll talk about that in a little bit in the negative section, the pacing's fine enough. The pacing's fine enough because you feel engaged in the movie as a whole. You feel engaged in the movie's intensity, the movie's look, the movie's vibe, and the movie's feel. And the movie hooks you right from the opening shot. And I know y'all know I always talk about how the most important thing about making a movie is how the movie's supposed to hook you in the beginning. And this movie hooked me. It did. Like right when it opened, the camera, it shows the skyline of a city, LA, because that's where the movie takes place, Los Angeles, the whole entire movie. The camera is moving, like just tilting, and there is not so much a monologue, but there's like a deep, like, take a deep breath in, take a deep breath out, like that type of like lady voice on your phone. Y'all will see what I'm talking. It's hard to describe. I don't know what it's called. I'm trying to figure out what it's called, but y'all see what I'm talking about when you see the movie. And it was a cool way to open it. It was really cool. But even though I did like the movie, talking about my negatives now, I walked out really enjoying it. I did. It's not perfect. It's not a perfect film by any means. It's a film that does not reinvent the wheel by any means. And it's one that you've seen a million times before. You know what you're going to get. But even then, it has enough substance to keep you engaged, even though the story is not as strong as it should be. The story definitely had potential to be stronger, but with the aesthetic and with the vibe and just the performances and all that type of stuff, it really keeps you engaged. But it is a little slow and sluggish at times. I will say that it starts to drag when the third act hits. And while I thought Chris Hemsworth was great, he's great in anything. His performance in any movie he's in is great. He never gives a bad performance. He's always great with what he's given. I will say, besides his performance, take the performance away and talk about his character, just his character right now. His character is a little dull. His character is a little dull. You really don't really care about his character that much. You really don't learn much about his character. He doesn't really have depth. And I feel like it's one of those things where maybe they wrote his character like that on purpose, but when you're watching it, he has no personality. His character has no substance, and you just don't care about the character's journey. You don't care about what goes on in his life, and his backstory is not prominent. It's not prominent, and there's a scene, multiple scenes, where him and Monica Barbero are talking, and she's trying to figure out who he is and what he was like in his earlier part of his life, and you just don't care about his character. You don't understand his motives. You just don't care about him at all. And it's a movie that you've seen a million times before. It's very cookie cutter, very run of the mill. It doesn't reinvent the wheel or anything. And the story feels overly convoluted. It never knows where it wants to go. It never knows really what it wants to do half of the time. And it starts to wear out its welcome once it hits the third act as well. And the story doesn't flow all that well. It doesn't seem to care about developing all of its characters. And this movie is 2 hours and 20 minutes long. And with this movie, you would think that this would be like an hour and 30, hour and 40 minutes, but without credits, it's probably 2 hours and 10 minutes. And it's long. It is a long movie, which I really didn't feel. I didn't feel the runtime. I maybe at times when it started to drag, when the pacing started to get a little slow. But you would think as well, with all these cast members in here, with all these phenomenal actors, with this ensemble, this fun ensemble, with Chris Hemsworth, with Halle Berry, with Nick Nolte, with Mark Ruffalo, Corey Hawkins, everybody in here, you would think they would have time to develop all of the characters in here, and all of them have the time to shine. They do, but you don't get enough time with the characters, and I wish they would have developed every single character more. And I know there's some main characters and some side characters, so maybe they just thought these characters were more important than these characters, but with all these great actors, I would have liked to learn more about each and every one of them. So yeah, overall, with Crime 101, I was somewhat looking forward to this film. I thought the trailers were fun, and it looked like a crime film that was right up my alley, even though I knew it wasn't going to reinvent the wheel or anything. But with the cast ensemble, I knew I was going to have fun with it, and I ended up walking out really having fun with Crime 101. So with this film, with Crime 101, I am going to give this movie a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I was going to give it a 4. I was going to give it a 4 out of 5, but I think 3.5 is okay. I think that's the perfect score to give it. And with Crime 101, I will say, dedicate your time. If you're a fan of all these actors in here, if you're a fan of these type of crime films, I think you might enjoy it. So that'll wrap up this video. Thank y'all so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share in this video. We just hit 1K subs a while back. We're now 1.2K. And the next big milestone is 2K and 3K after that. Beyond that as well. If you're new as well, I did movie reviews, TV show reviews, trailer reactions, movie live streams, movie news, movie rankings, all that wonderful movie stuff under the movie umbrella. And let's talk about in the comments down below. Did you like Crime 101? Did you not like it? Are y'all gonna go see it in theaters tomorrow when it officially releases? Or are y'all gonna wait to watch it on streaming? Let's talk about it down below. Keep talking movies, wonderful people. Cheers.